jazz fans. Welcome to today's live stream. My name is Paul Tobey. Glad you could join us. Today we're going to be talking about Ceora, which is a LeeMorgan composition, and it's characterized by the genre of the music, which kind of came out of the mid-50s, called hard bop. That's a more aggressive, sort of in-your-face version of bebop, modern style jazz. It incorporates rhythm and blues and other styles of music as well. Typically, it's characterized by the saxophone players and the trumpet players of the era, just like the trumpet player in this case, which is LeeMorgan. Now, I think LeeMorgan is kind of one of the unsung heroes of the bebop era. And we're going to take a look at his music today because I had a request from one of our subscribers and actually one of the members of the Inner Circle paid members group, and that is Amodi Naibongo. And he's actually here today, so quick shout out to Amodi for suggesting this. I've got some sheet music that I prepared. It's a complete arrangement of Ceora, and I'm also going to play along with a backing track today, which is going to be kind of fun, and I'll make that available to you in just a few short moments. Quick hello to Amodi and Dave and Thomas and Rich and Ben and yeah, just make sure I got my names right here. David, yes, there we go. Jerry, good to see you. All right, thanks everyone for showing up. And as everyone else joins the stream, if you could just share your name and where you're from in the chat area, that would be great. Nobody's hearing audio. Great, perfect. So the sound's a bit scratchy. I'm not sure what that's all about. I might have to reboot. I don't know. Give me a second. So we've got an echo going on. Let's see if we can sort that quickly. I'm not exactly sure how, but let's give it a shot. I'm not sure. I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that I've set up a backing track. Can I get some feedback from others about the sound? Because I don't exactly know what's happening with the sound. We face this from time to time. I may have to reboot and restart the stream, but for now, I'm just kind of waiting to hear what you think about the current sound. I made one adjustment. Maybe that'll help. Maybe it won't. Yeah, so people have an echo. All right, so how do we deal with that? 1 second. All right, let's try this one thing. Let me know if you can hear the echo now. Called a slapback echo. Not bad, but an echo, yes. So I'm trying something new, and I'm just waiting to hear feedback. Obviously, there's a delay in the stream, and I appreciate your patience on this. This is something new that I haven't faced yet. So I'm just trying to ascertain if I've got a handle on it. Maybe we'll have to turn off and on the piano mics. I'm not quite sure. So I shut them off for the moment to see if the echo is still there. And we still have an echo. Okay, perfect. Let's try something else then. No, I can't shut that off. Okay, I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna reboot the computer, but I'm gonna turn off the studio and then restart. So give me 1 second to do that. All right, let me know if the echo is still there. I'm back. I appreciate your patience on this while we try to sort out the echo. Not sure where it's coming from at the current moment. And it's still there. Okay, perfect. All right, I'm not sure what to do now. Let me try one more thing. Let's try that. Does that work at all? Do you still hear an echo? And again, I'm just waiting to hear the feedback on that. And then let's see how that works. Check 1, 2, check, check. Is it still there? Waiting for a response. And again, I appreciate your patience on this. We'll get to the music. Yes, it's better. Perfect now. Okay, so there we go. Let's do a quick, we're going to do a sound check on the piano. Okay, what about the piano though? I totally get that the echo on the voice is gone. What about the piano? It's clear. Okay, perfect. Okay, we're all set. I don't know. I've never had that problem before. I had to mute the monitor, and that's not something I'm used to doing. So for those of you that were patient enough for that, that's great. Let me throw a link to today's sheet music, which I'm going to put up on your screen right now. There is the sheet music that we're going to be working on that I'm going to send you a link to in the chat area. Hopefully it saved it. Yes, it did. Let me pin that to the top of the chat. And I'm going to play it with the bass and drums backing track so that we can get a good sense of how this thing happens. So there's the link at the top of the screen. Don't all go to Rush and download it. It'll slow the site down a little bit. And I'm going to play it. I'm wondering, yeah, let me leave the sheet music on the screen. What we're looking at here is the entire arrangement that I did of Ceora. So you can see that there's left hand comping in here, lots of rhythms going on. Before I just launch into it though, let me play the backing track that I created. And let's see if you can hear that okay. So let me know if you can hear the backing track. I'd really appreciate that. And just waiting on some feedback on the backing track. Make sure, yes, you can hear it. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to launch into this thing. I'm going to put the head down and then a couple of choruses of solo, then the head out, and play you kind of like the entire arrangement that we're going to do here. And let's see how this goes. This is Ceora by LeeMorgan and my personal piano arrangement. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, piano track and voice, meaning everything sounds good? Okay. Jerry says, I must have a transcription of this piano solo, one of your best. You know what? I'm not sure if it was, but I appreciate the thought. And our transcriber, actually, who's listening, is probably thinking, hey, that's going to be very easy to transcribe, but maybe we'll make a better version later on. I'll play it one more time before we head off today to do other things with our Saturday. Anyway, so that's Ceora. I'm going to change the sheet music to a single page, and we're going to talk about it. And for everybody that has had patience so far today with the sound and getting the sound sorted at the beginning, I really appreciate the help on that. It's not always easy for me to tell what you hear on your end, for sure. And of course, everybody heard an echo, and we managed to fix it, which is always good. I'm going to do a single page view of this, just so we can make it a little bit louder, or sorry, larger, not louder. I just have to figure out where that is. Here we go. And make that bigger, and let's see if that fits on your screen now. It's this one. There we go. The track is louder than the piano. Oh, I appreciate that. So I think I can, how do I turn that down? Let me just check to see if I can do that. There's actually no volume setting. Hang on one second. Let me just try this. There we go. I'm going to try that volume with the backing track next time through. So hopefully that'll work when we play it again. But I appreciate the fact that you've got some feedback on that as well. Again, that's impossible for me to tell as I'm playing and hearing all of the other things going on, it's not possible for me to get balances right. So Francis, I appreciate the fact that you've gave me some feedback on that. And for everyone else who's joining us, like Ben, Francia, and Jerry, and James, and everybody else, I appreciate your patience on this. So, Ceora. Let's take a look at, first of all, the feel of this thing. Now, it's bossa nova. If you want to get the feel of bossa nova, the best way is to actually listen to the backing track. So let's do that first. And I need headphones for that. And what I want you to listen for is on the side of the snare drum, there is a side hit. It's like, and it goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Duck, 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 duck. And you really have to listen to that, and that's where the feel is. It's on the and of 2 and the and of 4. Duck, 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 duck. Okay, so let's listen to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. You hear it? So he's playing, the drummer's playing around with it a little bit, and this is obviously a backing track that we used a real drummer for, and he's kind of playing around with that side drum hit a little bit, but it's important to kind of hear that feel so that when you're playing, it's kind of like, right? It's kind of like that bossa nova feel that we need to sort of get under our fingers. Now, it is straight eighths, so if you're thinking about it, you have to play straight eighth notes. Right? And so it's important, if you can actually take a look at the left hand, at the top, you can see it's playing on the and of 2 here. Right? We've got this sort of like, right? 1, 2, and 3. Tick back, 2 and 3. Tick tack, tick. So that kind of feel, right? So you can see that it's pretty consistent, even on the C minor 7th. You're playing the extra B flat note with your thumb on the and of 2. So that's really important to get because that's where the feel comes from. Jerry says he has a soft spot for bossa nova tunes, hence my admiration of your solo. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think we can play it better. I was a little bit, you know me, I get a little flustered when sound and all of that stuff doesn't work correctly. So anyway, it's working. And we'll play better in a little bit. All right. So one more time, take a look at this left hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You could even play, like I know on this bar where you got E flat 7 to A flat 7, or minor 7 to A flat 7, it's just half notes, but you can put rhythm in there too. But it's pretty consistent throughout where you've got this accent on the and of 2. And that's where the feel comes from. So that's definitely where you have to spend your time practicing. A lot of times, if you're comping a solo, it would be something like this. Just kind of getting that feel, right? It's like three beats, right? Suck it. If you go with your left hand like this, 1, 2, right. And this is something that I definitely learned a long time ago, and it's just kind of gotten ingrained in me. For those of you that don't play a lot of bossa nova music, that's kind of where that feel lies. The other thing that I wanted to point out about this first page that you really have to get your fingers around is the 16th notes. So we're going to go and take a look at them from the top of the tune. There aren't any until the end of bar. So bar 5, 6, 7, 8. On bar 8, we start the 16th notes and 16th note triplets, right? So listen to this. Of course, all the voicings in this are pretty much rootless voicings except for here. Because it's getting so low, you can't really avoid it. Love this voicing for F7 sharp 9. And then the right hand does this. That's not something that I think you can sort of read and get it under your fingers right away. But it's 1, 2, and da-da-ba-ba-ba. It's very much a hard bop lick. Best way to play that, third finger, fourth finger, third finger, thumb. And then third finger on top on the A flat. Now, there are more of those, but that pretty much defines, that little section there, defines the hard bop feel. A lot of those, right? It's just something that musicians used in that era to sound more bop. And then it does 16th notes. Now it's important in these bars, especially here and here and here, to play the left hand comping. This is the way that I do it. I play, because they're kind of like shots. You have to play the left hand comping with the right hand like this. So the left hand is playing the same rhythm as the right hand, but it's just chords. That one's difficult to do, actually, here on bar 12, where you've got these 16th notes. You kind of do third finger, fourth finger, second finger, third finger, first finger. There's that turn again, 16th note triplets. 1, 2, enter. 1, 2, enter. Right. Let's go from bar 9. This one's pretty tricky, actually. On the F7, you got D flat to E flat, back to D flat, down to F. So third finger, fourth finger, first finger. One more time from bar 9. And that's pretty much the way that goes in terms of the first page. Then when we get down to the second page, there's a repeat, except the first few notes are different than the top. Bar 21, D flat. Here's where it changes. Goes to a C half diminished seventh. And there's a turn from the G flat to A flat, back to G flat to F. That's very typical of the hard bop, or just in general bebop. That's a little bit tricky, actually, when you get to the F7. Just to get that rhythm right. 1, 2, and so triplets, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You kind of have to feel that more than read it. Okay, let's just quickly play the head one more time. Well, actually, no. What I want to do instead, well, no, let's play it one more time. So we're going to play the head one more time with the backing track, just to kind of see if we can get it under our fingers a little bit. I'll try to scroll the page as we do it. Let me know, by the way, I turned the backing track down a little bit, so hopefully it's better for you. Just let me know if it is or not. The balance between the backing track and the piano. Just looking for some feedback on the balance there. If you could just give me some feedback, that would be great. I know that Dave said it's a beautiful melody and chord sequence. It absolutely is. It's pretty straight ahead. There's nothing too complicated about the chord changes. And the form is A, B, A, C. That would be the form. So Friedrich asked this question. And the reason for that is because between bars 1 and 8, everything is the same. And then the next 8 bars, which starts with the B flat minor 7, it changes as soon as you get to the E flat 7, the second time through. So down here, here's where it changes. And that makes it an A, B, A, C tune because the A sections are exactly the same. Now, I know I've got rehearsal marks in here. There's an A here and there's a B here, but that doesn't mean form. That just means rehearsal marks. So, Friedrich, I hope that answers the question. And apparently, we've got some better balance this time, so that's good. It's actually harder now for me to hear it in the headphones, though, so I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to deal with that. Maybe I can turn that up in the headphones a little bit. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Problem is that the dial for the actual headphone volume is underneath the piano in a console back there, which I can't reach unless I crawl underneath the piano and get to it. And that's just the way things are set up here. So anyway. Any questions you have about the head section? In your download, I'm only offering basically the sheet music because it was a lot of work to put both of these together, and I just decided, hey, if you want to support the channel, you can grab the backing track. And there's an offer for that in your email, so I appreciate everyone who's thinking about that. I do think it helps play the tune when you've got an authentic bossa nova beat going on behind you, and it definitely makes the tune, I think, a lot nicer to listen to, and certainly easier to practice as well. So any questions about the head would be great. I'm also going to talk about soloing and the chord changes for this tune, which I think is a good thing to do. What's my approach to soloing and how does that actually work? So as you start thinking about your questions, let me think about the soloing section. So if you look at from the A section, which is bar 1, let's make sure. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. It's just so you can see it easier. That should be good. Okay. So if you actually start at bar 1, it's pretty easy. We've got 1, which is the root of the actual, the entire song is based in A flat. So we're basically starting on 1. And then there's just a 2-5 of 1. Now, one thing you can do with that, if you want to run these 16th notes like I did, it's best to use a bebop scale. So a bebop scale would be, it's got like a flat 6 as a passing note. If you're going to do that, you have to start on the second finger. And the last 4 notes are 2, 3, 4. But when you want to do more than 2 octaves, you have to put a thumb underneath on F and then play 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you actually started on the F, you can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's how to play fast runs. It's really hard to get anything to sound good without that extra note. So it's important to use bebop scales. So you probably heard me do these fast runs. And that's kind of how I approach it. I just use really just the bebop scales. And then also I'm just spelling the chords. So if I'm doing A flat major 7, I would start a half step below A flat. Okay, things like that. Now the bebop scale for B flat minor to E flat 7 basically has a D natural as a passing note, so like this. The reason for that is when you get to E flat 7, you get this sound. That's very bebop. Bebop. And that's what gives it kind of that hard bop authentic sound. And then you got a 2-5 of D flat major. Nothing too miraculous about that except for the fact that we're just switching to the key of D flat. So you got one extra flat. The bebop scale is a little bit different. Okay. But that's essentially all there is to that. So one more time from A, from the first bar. Right, so E flat major 7, sorry, E flat minor 7 to A flat 7. Right, sounds like that. Sounds, meaning the way it sounds to your ear. Then when we get to 2-5 of C minor, think about spelling the chords here. So D half diminished 7th, root position, and then a passing note to the 3rd of G. So from the D flat major 7. F sharp, F7 sharp 9. As soon as you see a sharp 9, and I'm talking, of course, about bar 8 right here, the flat 9 is assumed. So you wouldn't play a sharp 9 with a natural 9. You'd play it with a flat 9. So you get a sound like this. Okay. So from the beginning of that line, bar 5. We've had a 2-5 of A flat before. And then it does a 2-5 of B flat. Then a 2-5 of C. Then a 2-5 of B flat. Take a look at from C minor all the way through to here. So you've got bar 9, bar 10, this is bar 11. Take a look at those 6 bars. You got a 2-5 of B flat, 2-5 of C, 2-5 of B flat, right? Just a bunch of 2-5s. It doesn't really even make any harmonic sense. It just sort of floats there. It's almost like modal music, if you will. And it doesn't ever resolve. It just goes 2-5s to 2-5s. Okay, so from the top, let's see if we can play it a little bit slower. Okay. Again, a little easier with the backing track going on. keeps you more in time. I tend to stretch the feel a little bit when playing solo piano. I think it's important to kind of fit notes in, so you'll kind of hear a lag here and there. Right? Just doesn't always stick to solid time, especially when playing solo piano, but you definitely have to keep it in time when you're playing with the backing track. Let's check in with everybody and see how you're doing. So Semisaw has a question for solo playing. In your opinion, could a small reharmonization at the beginning of the form fit in this piece after the A flat major 7 and F7 altered on the third beat of the first bar? F7 altered on the third beat of the first bar. If I was going to put another chord in there, to me, it would probably be a D flat altered chord. Yeah. Maybe not. No, you're right. F7 works better. Like 1, 6, 2, 5. It's definitely more traditional. If you did F7 altered, you could put in it could be like a B7 as well. But then you would have to do it to the E flat 7 as well. Interesting, though, you start to do that and the tune sort of loses its flavor a little bit with a 1, 6, 2, 5. I think if you're soloing, it definitely makes sense. But if you're playing the head, I would just keep it to the A flat. I think the reason for that is you've got the same rhythm and the same chord here as in bar 3. And you really don't have an opportunity to put another passing chord there that would make sense. You put B flat. Yeah, it's tough. I would say no. Just keep it the way it is. It's also, you kind of have to be a little bit true to the original composer, which is LeeMorgan. Anyway, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, I see the reference you're making to rhythm changes. It could be reharmonized. I would say more for the solo than the head. Oh, yes, you say that. So, exactly. Could you maybe use it in the solo, Dave said. Yeah, we just decided that that's where it was the best place to use it for sure. All right. Keep the questions coming, by the way. It makes my job here easier rather than just yammering on about things that I want to talk about, but I think it's somehow important to cover as much of it as you can. Let's go down to the last 8 bars. Of course, it's A, A, B, A. And so in that last 8 bars, you've got B flat to E flat, and then you've got a 2-5 in minor. So it's different. You've got this 2-5 now for C half diminished 7th and an F7. So bebop scales start to become a little tricky at that point, but basically what you're talking about is, so I would say that's for C half diminished 7th. So you got flat 9, sharp 9. And for the F7, it's this. Okay. One more time. F7. or just spell chords. Then to B flat. I know it says E flat sus4. That's because of the melody. I would say in the soloing section, you can either play it as an E flat sus chord, which is basically D flat over E flat, or you can play it as an E flat 7 chord. I would say E flat 7 is probably easier to play. Okay. And that's the arrangement of Ceora. And a little bit on how to solo. I think, as I mentioned earlier today, the feel is kind of the thing that you have to get under your fingers. It's definitely a straight 8 feel, but that's sort of and of 2 sort of feel. I think because, and Amodi says, could have fun harmonically, it's definitely the changes are fairly simple. So there is a lot of room to stretch here. You can definitely stretch outside a little bit if you know how to do that. It's probably something that I would do if I had an extended solo. And maybe we'll try that the next time through. It's 11:47 a.m. my time, which makes it approximately 12 minutes or 13 minutes close to the hour. It's a good time to launch into another version of this with the backing track to see how that goes. But before we do that, are there any final questions? Hey, Paul from Greenville, I'm a little late to the party. Any tips on improving timing? Well, the backing track is there. I would definitely, if you have a timing issue, let's play the backing track. I have to actually listen to it though, so headphones. I would just pick a simple chord change, like maybe 1 and then a 2/5 of 1, just to kind of get the feel of it. So listen. Again, you're listening for this, right? Right, that's the feel you're looking for. So just a simple 1 to 2/5. Obviously, we've got the bass going here. You would want to just grab a bossa nova track to just kind of play the 1-6-2-5. But if we did it over the head, let's try that, comping just over the head section and see how that goes. Okay? Obviously, a little bit into the chord changes and starting to solo a little bit, but that's how I would practice the feel. I would just play the backing track over and over again and just try to hit the end of 2. Right? That's the most important part about bossa nova, just kind of that 3/4 feel, which is where the whole thing comes from. I'm going to try something. I think the monitor for the piano, when I turn the backing track down, is a bit loud. So I'm just going to try and do something like this to see what happens. Hopefully that'll work. Let me try that. Yeah, that helps me out, actually. I turned the monitor off for the piano, which is way too loud in the headphones. And hopefully you can still hear it, which would be good. So let's play it one more time. Of course, the backing track goes through the head 4 times. So we have to play the head twice, once in the beginning, once in the outro, and then 2 choruses of solo. So let's see how that goes this time around. Yeah, fun. Uh-oh, slight echo. I don't know, it's back? Oh, I think it's because I didn't turn off the vocal mic. Oh, no, I did turn off the vocal mic. Thank you for the kudos. I appreciate that. It's, I think if you want to transcribe that, maybe the second version, I don't know, maybe you could listen to it, our transcriber there in Poland, if you want to listen to it and let me know which version you like. Maybe it looks like a few people want a transcription, so that'd be kind of nice. Maybe I'll listen to it again and I'll decide before I get you to do it. PJ is right. Not too distracting, but wanted to let Paul know. Okay. Well, some people hear an echo, some people don't. I'm not sure why. Anyway, Dave says combine the two. Yeah, have like 4 choruses of solo instead of 2. That's not a bad idea. We could do that too. And of course, our transcriber will edit out any obvious mistakes, which would be nice. Anyway, I hope that, second version, Emoti says. All right, well, we seem to be divided a little bit, so maybe we'll figure out which one it'll be, and then we'll make that available to you at some point. I definitely have enjoyed putting this together today. I think the backing track, it took me quite a while to get that together, get the bass in there and get all the changes and make 4 choruses and get the ending, and you know, it's work. So for those of you that are looking for a music -1 opportunity to practice, that's probably a good thing for you. I did actually look up what these things cost, and I think we're well in line with what the pricing is for music -1. I did see one on Amazon, and it was 12 pieces that you don't even get to pick, and it's just, they actually weren't even like transcriptions or piano arrangements. They were just lead sheets. And then the backing tracks were pretty lame, and it was 12 of them for like $142, which I don't know. So I think we're well in line with where things are. And yeah, there you go. So people would like solo transcriptions. That's nice. Only the backing track had an echo. Yeah, it does that sometimes. I agree with you. I don't know why that happens, but it does. So I totally get why you're hearing that, and I appreciate the feedback on that. I don't know how to stop it. It just happens. I think that'll do it for me today. It's definitely been fun. We've got through the hour, and we did have a couple of minutes at the beginning trying to figure out sound, and I apologize for that and taking up too much of your time there. But I did really get through everything that I wanted to get through today. And I hope to see everybody again on our Jazzmentl live streams. We do it every Saturday morning, Eastern Standard Time from 11 a.m. to noon. Sometimes we go a little bit longer. Just maybe a couple of questions to finish off. Friedrich says, when comping in a solo group with a bass player, would you always use rootless voicings? For the most part, yes. If you happen to hit a bass note every now and then, it's not going to matter. And I think stylistically, if you ended up doing it, for example, if we played just some comping, go back to the tune, put the tune back on the screen. If we did some comping over this tune and we actually accidentally hit a bass note, it's fine. Like, listen. Like, there's a bass note. Now, the bass player is not going to go, oh my God, I can't believe you're stepping all over my toes. No, because it's subtle, right? Right? There's a bass note. Bass note. Bass note. Okay, so again, it's not, there's no law that says you can't stick in a bass note now and then. I wouldn't do it all the time because then the bass player's going to be like, yeah, don't step too much on my toes, but a little bit now and then, not a problem. I hope that answers your question. Ben asking about Nancy. She is doing much better, still trending upward. I do think that we have definitely won this most recent battle. So thank you for all of your kind thoughts and prayers for Nancy. And like Dave says, great fun again, Paul, and like to learn, and lots to learn. Absolutely. Thanks again. Thank you for showing up. I really appreciate it. And for everybody who's here that I didn't name, I do see you hanging out in the chat, and I usually focus more on the questions. So if I didn't shout your name out and you didn't get a hello from me, hello and goodbye. We'll see everybody next Saturday, same time, same place. I truly appreciate it. Take care, everyone. Have a good one.